Today is the 1 year of my channel. Just to say, I never expected that it will be already 1 year since I uploaded my first video which have now more than 600 view and soon 700 view. Yeah, so I'm very happy about the result of the video, and I want to say like a big thanks to all of you, to people who follow me or people who don't follow me, people who like my video, comment under my video. Well, I'm just like happy about people who seems interested about the type of video I'm making. By the way, I think you're seeing it coming, but if you do like my video, if you do like the content I made, please follow my YouTube channel, so subscribe, like, share, comment, and also if you would like to be informed about the new video I'm going to make, the processes of when will be the next video, please follow me on Instagram too. That will be a huge help for me. And anyway, just a big thanks to all of you guys. I love you. So, anyways, today is a special video for a special reason. That's why I wanted to make a video which gonna be meaningful for me, and I decided to make a video about the rain in Iceland, which is the most dear place to me. So if you don't know it, that's good because you're gonna learn a lot of things about it. And if you do know it's mostly French people, well, it's good too because you're gonna maybe learn things that you didn't learn at school, mostly. So let's go for that. Today I'm going to make you learn more things about the rain in Iceland. So if you want, it will be like this. I will just like talk about the general presentation of the Iceland, then the culture and the tradition, and then the landscape, and maybe I will talk very few about my history and why this place is so dear to myself. So then let's go, guys. So geography and location. So the Iceland is part of the Mascarene archipelago, just like Mauritius, Rodrigues, and other small islands. It is located east of Africa, the Mozambique Channel, and Madagascar. The closest island to the region is Mauritius. It's about 200 kilometers, which separate the sister island. That's what we call them because they're near each other. Metropolitan France, which is mainly the France, but that's what we call them in the French Iceland, is about 9,500 kilometers from Rainian Iceland. So it's about 11 to 12 hours of plane from Paris to Saint-Denis, which is the capital of the Rainian Iceland. Rainian is also part of the overseas department of France, which we call them in France Drôme, which consists of Guyana, 1642, a ship from the Compagnie Française de l'Orient, founded by Richelieu, officially took possession of the island. A flag was planted at a place that has since been called La Possession. La Possession. Even now, I'm gonna show you a picture all during the video. But yeah, with years in the century. Even what I'm saying right now is like not the full list, but what I say is that the first name she had was Bourbon. Then she went by the name of Réunion. Then she was called Bonaparte because I guess it was during the time of the reign of Bonaparte, Napoleon Bonaparte. Then she was called again Bourbon, and again and finally she was called Réunion. So on October 11, 18, Madame Desbassins found herself at the head of more than 400 slaves and a very extensive estate after the death of her husband, Monsieur Henri Paulin Panon Desbassins. The name Desbassins comes from the fact that all the land was located on the coast of Saint-Gilles, where there were many passants. To say it also, Madame Desbassins, like I said, is very famous in the Réunion Island, but she's not famous for good reason. Like almost everyone hated her during the centuries, and even now when you talk about her, it's not for good reason, because she was known to be a mean woman, a violent woman with her slave. Like she beat them, she was like very mean and did a lot of bad things to her slave. And yeah, if you go there and listen to people talk about her, it's like not for good reason. And she is even represented as some kind of ghost that hunt this place. But I'm gonna talk about her later, so I'm not going to develop about it, guys. Well then, as soon as the Provisional Republican government was proclaimed, Arago, Lamartine, and their friend, under pressure from Victor Schweitzer, signed the decree abolishing slavery. The success of the operation in the Réunion Island is due to the personality of the Commissioner of the Republic sent to the island, Sarda Garriga. The abolition of slavery could be the occasion for a great social and economic revolution. However, it was not the case, because the colonists compensated for the hemorrhage of workers by a massive importation of indentured laborers and voluntary immigrant workers from different regions of India and then China. So to give you an example, even myself, my grandfather is from China. He's from Canton, so which have the name Guangzhou. Now, I know it's not street we pave and then tarmac and motor car replace horse-drawn carriage. And in 1882, the Iceland acquired a narrow gauge train that would connect Saint-Pierre to Saint-Benoît, passing through Saint-Denis until the car after the Second World War finally dethroned it. This apparent drowsiness must be seen as a result of the economic situation. The Iceland prosperity remains based on the monoculture of cane. However, the world price of sugar have fallen considerably as beds has developed in Europe. Vanilla and geranium remain speculative crops intended for an external market and therefore subject to its fluctuation. All this contribute to a long crisis, which result in a general impoverishment that the enrichment of the big owners makes even more cruel. The interwar period was a recovery, however, thanks to the effort of powerful agricultural company. But in 1945, the Iceland, which is overly large and poorly fed population, was seen as an abandoned colony. Ayodhya and symbolize the victory of good over evil. It is also the occasion of a great celebration in Saint-André. It takes place in the east of the region. This event takes place according to the Hindu lunar calendar, in which a month is equivalent to an orbital period of the moon. Then Islam. So, along with Ramadan, this is one of the most important religious festivals for the Muslim community of Reunion Island. It's called Eid el-Kebir, Eid el-Kebir, or Eid el-Adha. So this festival is a festival of sacrifice that commemorates the submission of Abraham and marks the end of the Hajj, the pilgrimage to Mecca, each year. The celebration takes place in Saint-Denis, then the Buddhism. So it's Veska. This festival celebrates a birth, the transformation of an ordinary man, Siddhartha, Gautama, sorry if I mispronounce it, into an awakened one, that is to say, a Buddha. As a founding event, it is celebrated throughout the world by all different branches of Buddhism world beyond their diversity. It is an opportunity for Buddhists to open up to everyone in a spirit of tolerance, compassion, and joy, and to publicly carry the value of non-violence, friendship between people, world peace, and harmony with nature. Then we have the people. So, what I'm going to talk is the name that the Reunion, like the people who live in the Reunion Island, can say, all the words that were used over the time during the centuries. So to give you an example, Creole, 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 Creole. So Creole make up the majority of the population of the Reunion Island. They're about 40 to 50% of the population. They are officially from Madagascar and Africa, Mozambique, Guyana, etc., and are often mixed with white. The Cafre refer more specifically to black, but this term is confused with that of Creole. They are mainly Catholic. Malbar, 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 Malbar. They are originally from the south of India and are the result of the great wave of immigration necessary for the plantation after the abolition of slavery. The Malbar practice Tamil Hinduism. They represent approximately 20 to 25% of the population. Then we have the Soreilles, 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 Soreilles. They refer to metropolitan France, so the France. They refer to the French Paris. just rice, chicken, some vegetable. I say rice, some vegetable, and that's all. But it's so good. The best one, of course, is the one from my grandma. But it's like so delicious, and I could eat so much in a day. So this one is my favorite. The second one is what we call un rougail saucisse. Rougail saucisse. Rougail saucisse is also very simple. It's like rice. It's like rice, sausage, some kind of spices and épices, and that's all. But it's so good. And you have to, like, I think the most important point in making it is like the sausage you use. Like if you use a bad taste sausage, then like it's not going to be good. But if you take the sausage from the rain in Iceland, it would be like so good. Then if you go to the market, you should try the samosa. 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 It's so good. And you can find like so much from different taste. Like you can find some about beef, fish, vegetable, cheese. My favorite one is the cheese. But the one to the, like the beef and fish is also very good. But like cheese, it's so good. Then we have what we call bouchon. 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 It's kind of like Chinese. 1950 because Malaya carried a message of revolt and emancipation. Segal Malaya are practiced with traditional instruments such as the roller or the kayombe. So here I'm going to sing some example of the most famous song of the Iceland. The first one is one of my favorite song. I literally sing it with all my family from my mother's side. So it's very funny. It's called Maloya and it was made by a folkloric group. And here are the lyrics. So it's in Creole, so you may not understand it, people who are foreigners, and even the French, you can have some like hardship to understand what that means, but I will try to put a translation of it. So let's go. Comme à l'attente, le roi dans les bois, la reine l'a rêvé. Comme à l'attente, le roi dans les bois, la reine l'a rêvé. Dégage à nous, maman, dégage à nous, Calicole arrivé. Dégage à nous, maman, dégage à nous, Calicole arrivé. Marie-Rose, les démons font, comment rien la finir allait. Marie-Rose, les démons font, comment rien la finir allait. Malhérodé, une femme pour moi. Malhérodé, une femme pour moi. Si mi-bois, mi-moi, mon larson, si mi-tombe dans le chemin. Si mi-bois, mon larson, si mi-tombe dans le chemin. Devinèrent la moisson casse. Devinèrent la moisson casse, câble, là où c'est la rivière du mat. Devinèrent la moisson casse. Devinèrent la moisson casse, câble, là où c'est la rivière du mat. Souquet, coup de poing. Allez petit frère, dernier virage. Voilà monte là, on putain faugère. Voilà trop gardien, la vanille, la mettre son langage. Je suis moi, la pas son langage. Fais-toi moi, la maladie, bon Dieu, fais-toi moi. Do, c'est ya, la gaz là pas moi, mais de do pas. De cocoon pour moi nana, sans golet, c'est la terre, moi la bon. À commenter la fait pour gagner, à moi paye pour mettre sans la gaz. À chemin grand moi, ça l'est long, à tiba, n'arriver. Maloya là-bas nous l'a fait, Maloya là-bas nous l'a fait, Maloya là-bas nous l'a fait, So I'm going to talk about three stories about Grand Marcal. So the first one is the history traces the legend to a slave named Kala, Kala, who is said to have Malagasy origin between the 19th and early 20th centuries, arriving at the Renan as a slave and then employed in Maavel in the south of the island. She married another slave with whom she had several children and has many more from her boss. Preferring to remain a slave than to live for the unknown with other slaves to escape the sad working condition, she was taken for a traitor and killed by the Marans. Then, according to custom, her body was burned and thrown into the trou aux esclaves. You also have to know that Marans are the name of the slave who escape their boss, and that's the name we call them. Here is the second story. Grand Marcal was a wicked landlady known for mistreating and despising her slave. She was poisoned by a rebellious slave who managed to escape with his companion, who lived happily in the Cirque of Mafat. She transformed into a large black bird, and since then, it is still said that her sinister cry announced an imminent misfortune. Being a wicked landlady, Gala was through associated with Madame de Bassin, whose ghost is said to haunt the west coast of the island. The eruption of the Piton de la Fournaise volcano are in fact her supplication, her soul atoning for her sin in its crater. And then here is the third and last story about her that I'm gonna tell you. Kala, sometime a bear on the contrary, has a devoted slave and protective mother. Mad with grief at the disappearance of her son, she threw herself into the heartbreaking wave of the ocean. Since then, when a misfortune approached, a bird warns the inhabitants by letting out a mournful cry. It's also funny because when I was a kid, and even now I think, we have a game about Grand Marcal. So basically, I don't really remember it, but normally it goes like this. The children are in circle, and you have Grand Marcal, which is in the center, and all the children have to say these phrases. Grand Marcal, quelle heure il est? Grand Marcal, quelle heure il est? And then the Grand Marcal is saying the hours, so 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours, until she say midnight. And then something happened at midnight, but I don't remember if she have to grab someone or if she have to point to someone. I think that's it, guys. If I'm not wrong, I think she's like pointed to everyone saying 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours, and something like this. And then when she points someone at midnight, this person goes in the center with her, or something like this. I don't remember, but it have to be something like this. Anyway, we have a game called Grand Marcal, quelle heure il est? About Grand Marcal. Then the bataille of Coq. So probably imported from Asia. Cockfighting is a true Rhénan tradition. In a square of about 10 meters called a galodrome in Creole, Ronde-Coq waterfalls there. Like even when you take the road from the aéroport and you take the road to go to Saint Paul, if you turn your head to the right, you have the ocean, and sometimes when it's the season, you can see some whales or some dolphin. And at the same time, if you turn your head to the left, you can find some natural waterfalls. That's so cool to see. So then we have volcanoes. So Piton de la Fournaise. Piton de la Fournaise is one of the most active volcanoes in the world. Its lunar landscape is impressive with black lava filled and spectacular craters. Piton des Neiges is the highest point of the island. It's 3,017 meters of a breathtaking view after a difficult hike. Then we have, I hope I'm not gonna mispronounce it, but we have the beaches. The beaches. So the west coast offers beaches of blonde sand such as the Hermitage or Saint-Gilles, who are protected by lagoons. And on the east coast, you can find black sand, which is a witness to the Iceland volcanic activity. Then, like I said, we have the waterfalls. So the Renan Island is known for its many waterfalls, including the famous Longevin waterfall and the Voile de la Mariée in the Cirque de Salazie. They add a magical touch to the landscape. Then we have the agricultural landscape. Sugarcane field stretch across the plain, while vanilla, pineapple, and coffee plantations color the mountains region. And we have the scenic world. So the coastal road, both at the foot of the volcanic cliff or the plain road, crossing a landscape of meadow and forest, offer breathtaking view. Then I'm going to talk about the season, and you're gonna see it's very funny to talk about it. So basically, I'm going to present you 3 seasons. The first one is summer, so it's from November to April, and at this time it's the hot and humid season. So the air temperature can reach 35 degrees and the water temperature is around 26 degrees. As always in tropical area, you have humid air, short torrential rain at altitude, and this period generates bad weather and many clouds at altitude. On the other hand, on the coast, you will be very happy, very hot, and so then a fine rain will make everyone happy. It is also the cyclone season. We have a lot of cyclone at this time of the year. Then we have winter. So winter is taking place from May to October, and it corresponds to the cool and dry season. And the air temperature can reach 25 degrees and 19 degrees in the highlands. The water temperature is around 23 degrees. During this period, it's rarely rain, except in the east where shower are frequent. And then we have spring. So it's a short period during which the vegetation is resplendent. There are also many tourists because the temperatures are ideal. So you may see why it's funny, because for me, I would say we only have one season during a whole year is summer. Like, even for us, winter, this day it's winter for almost everyone in the world. Almost everyone in the world. And so, like, basically, you have a low temperature. And even in the Renan Iceland, right now it's winter, but for them, they have like 31 degrees or 20, I don't know, 27 degrees. I wish I could have this weather right now in France, but we don't have it. So this is kind of the funny part. And then is the end of the video, guys. It's a long video, more than 1 hour, but I hope you learn more about the country where I live for more than 10 years. 10 years actually there, and the most cherished place in my heart. So I hope you like this video. You did learn a lot of new things about it. Maybe you will want to visit it now that you know it. Before ending the video, I also want to say to you all, guys, have good celebration